And there we go. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this week for Beyond Belief, the Art of Strange Mentalism, with myself, Dr. Michael Likey, and my substitute co-host this week. It is a pleasure and honor to welcome you, Lord Kevin Peel. How are you this day?
Thank you to you, Dr. Michael Likely.
And what our usual host, Tommy, does is we do that. We tend to do that like a tag team match.
Do you want
I
to give
don't
it a
know
go?
where
Give
I
it a
don't
go.
know where right
One, two,
Tommy put
three.
that.
Oh.
Boom.
Keep going the wrong
For
way.
for
It needs practice.
magicians, for magicians, we're terribly uncoordinated. I don't know how we get through tricks. Oh,
Uh,
should I do this now or what?
well,
Hi, Michael. Michael, yeah. I've done that too with Cheryl. Gone the wrong way, and she's gone the right way. It's so nice to have you on our show, Michael Kelly. What a pleasure and honor. Let's put our hands together for Michael this day. Now, for those of you who have been living in a cave or are not familiar with bizarre magic and storytelling and such, this is one of Michael Kelly's specialties. And I think most of us have seen him either on Kevin's Tuesday night show or the open mic on Wednesday. Look it up on Facebook. So we're so pleased and honored because, quite frankly, you do the kind of bizarre magic, Michael, that I so enjoy. Because one of my great loves is Celtic mythology. And I was a student of it and have retained a lot from it. And it's so exciting to see props and storytelling based loosely and not so loosely on these Celtic myths. I was going to ask you, but I sort of answered it myself. How do you come up with the ideas for your experiments and effects?
Well, firstly, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
But the ideas are the ideas are right there, as you just said, in the mythology. There's a whole wealth of stories, a whole wealth of myths from around the world, a whole wealth of urban myths and so on, which have grown up in more recent years, a whole wealth of folklore. So, depending on the kind of tone you want to take with a particular show or series of effects, that's where you go to mine the stories. Most of the effects I do would be considered to be fairly simple by most magicians. Um, but they don't appear to be because they're woven in with the story. And the whole idea is people get wrapped up in the story and they almost forget that there's a trick there. So when something strange happens, it kind of comes out of nowhere. This is what you're aiming for. It's you don't want the kind of situation where people are sitting there thinking, "Oh, I know how this one is done." You want them to lose track of the fact that there's really anything going on at all until at the end they're faced with something remarkable that absolutely sells the tale that you're telling. So
Absolutely.
one of the things I love about it for that reason is it can take people on a real emotional journey. Stories do this. Stories engage an audience. Anytime you tell a story, the first thing that people will do is put themselves in the main character's position. It's just a natural thing we do when we read a book or um, hear a story told. We put ourselves in that position. And so it makes it very powerful, very intimate, and it really does affect people and make them think. And that's why I
Indeed.
love this kind of magic so much.
And we love it as well. It's very exciting. It's very dramatic, the storytelling and the props. One of the things as well I love about your presentations are the props. They're unique and they reflect the theme of the effect. They reflect the feel and look. And I think that will be illustrated. I think I'll go to this
Mm.
video that I've prepared so people can enjoy you. Um, on a recent appearance on one of our shows, we had you on to do a little something. Everybody enjoy. Michael Kelly.
Thank you, Doctor. And I have a little story for you tonight. Those of you who are well read in certain circles may recognize the image on my shirt. It's one of the little characters featured in a well-known woodcut of Witcher's Familiar Spirits. This is Vinegar Tom. And I have a little witchy story for you tonight, if I may. And I'd like somebody to help me with it. And I wonder if maybe Tommy could do that. He doesn't need to come on screen, but if you could have your voice ready and well lubricated, please, Tommy. Perfect pitch. Thank you. So I've got a few little things in here to share. I'm going to show you 4 pictures, Tommy, to begin with.
Okay.
4 pictures of 4 women.
Mm.
Don't get too excited. You haven't seen them yet.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you something else which may change the way you look at them a little.
Mm.
It's,
You never know.
once I get it unwrapped, it's wrapped up because it has some very strange powers.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Just the wrapping. This is a stone with a hole in it. It's called a hagstone. And a hagstone enables you to see things which are otherwise invisible. It enables you to look through the veil between the reality we know and the world beneath.
Mm.
And you're going to need a little of that now as I show you these pictures. 4 pictures. I'm going to show you them first and just briefly describe them. I want you to then choose one. I'm going to tell you this story. One of these pictures will unlock kind of a little extra chapter in the story.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see if you can identify it or not. The first picture is of a woman standing in a graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
Now take a good look.
Okay.
You'll feel drawn to one of these pictures. You may not know why, but there will be something that makes one of them stand out. The second picture is of a woman looking into a mirror, a black mirror that casts no reflection. The third picture is a woman wearing a mourning veil, and in front of her is a box. And if you look, you'll see it's this very box.
Wow. Okay.
And the fourth and final picture is a woman standing next to a tea trolley in a nightdress. Are there any you'd like to see again before you decide?
Yeah, can you film me number 1 again?
Number one, the graveyard.
Yes.
Now, you may not know what draws you to any particular picture. There may be something subliminal that speaks to you. I love subliminals. But one of these pictures will stand out as significant. Which is it going to be?
You know what? I think of that one there, the one you have in your hand. Number
This
4.
one here.
Yeah.
Okay. Standing beside the tea trolley. Arguably the most innocent of the pictures. But something's drawn you to it, so we're going to mark it by putting the hagstone on it, so we don't forget. Now I'll tell you a little about these pictures. Back in the years between the two world wars, in Tintagel in Cornwall, a very, very old woman lay dying. Her name was Margaret, and she was known as the Witch of Vicarage Hill. The only person attending her was her daughter, Emily, who looked very much like her. Margaret wasn't afraid to die. She just looked at Emily and she said, "You know what to do." Now, Emily was an only child. By this time, she was approaching 30 years old. She'd been brought up by her mother alone because her father had died within a couple of months of her birth. Her mother used to take her to the local graveyard. And as Emily would play among the tombstones, Margaret would gather special herbs that grew on the grave of her own mother and her grandmother. And she'd use these to brew her special teas, which she said gave her all of her powers. And now, of course, Emily was in that graveyard burying Margaret. When Emily got home from the funeral, she passed Margaret's mirror on the wall. This was the black mirror that she used to scry in and communicate with spirits. It never cast a reflection, but on this day, for the first time, as she passed the mirror, Emily saw a reflection in it. It looked like her, but it wasn't her. She had her instructions. Their cottage had a cellar that Emily had never been in, but she knew where the key was, and she'd been instructed that after Margaret's funeral, she should take the key and descend to the cellar at midnight, wearing the mourning veil. In the cellar, she found a circle marked on the floor. She found the box that you saw me take these pictures from. And within the box was a black candle, which she lit. There was a little notebook written in her mother's hand. Giving her instructions of what to do. And there was a quantity of her mother's special tea, quite a large quantity. She recited the ritual from the book. She brewed the tea. She drank it. Then she went into convulsions and passed out. It was quite strong stuff. She recovered consciousness the next morning. Went upstairs and had some more tea from the tea trolley. But this was no longer Emily. This was Margaret's spirit possessing her daughter's body. This was how she obtained immortality, passing from one life to the next, generation upon generation, bringing her own offspring up to be her next vehicle. Let's move forward a few years. Now, Emily is in the graveyard, though she's actually Margaret. And she's now gathering the herbs for her tea from Margaret's grave and her grandmother's grave and her great-grandmother's grave and brewing it, while her own daughter, Mary, plays among the tombstones. She was bringing Mary up alone because, unfortunately, Mary's father sadly died within a couple of months of her birth. You picked one picture, Tommy, which was this one of the reawakened Margaret standing beside the tea trolley. Can you tell me what drew you to that picture?
Sorry, I got muted for some reason. She's not standing on the floor. She's kind of floating, isn't she? I didn't want to say anything, but
Yeah,
I felt something weird about that.
there is something weird about that.
Yeah.
You also see that picture on the wall of the snake swallowing its own tail, the symbol of eternity.
Yeah.
Which is what Margaret achieved through the use of her tea, which is contained in this trolley. Did you unlock a little extra of the story? Maybe you did, because if we have a look in here, we'll find a little bag containing some of Margaret's tea.
Very nice.
And a little continuation of the story, which contains that same image of the snake swallowing its tail. Margaret's tea ritual was bound to the Ouroboros, a symbol depicted by a serpent eating its own tail. It represents the perpetual renewal of life and the concept of eternal return. The hagstone, which we marked the picture with, was found stored in the boxes on the lower shelf of Margaret's tea cart. Got it in one, Tommy.
Wow.
There's only one question that remains, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's probably occurred to you. If Margaret or Emily or Mary are still around, how come I've got their box?
Mm.
The answer's, I think, quite a reasonable one. When Mary was due to be born, I wasn't hanging around to die within 12 months. I just grabbed what I could and headed for the hills. Thank you, Tommy. Back to you, Doctor.
And one,
Wonderful. Terrific stuff, Michael. Excellent, as always.
if that doesn't make half the magicians out there want to do this sort of wizardry, I don't know what will. I really don't. You're so inspiring, Michael Kelly. I'd like to turn this over to the great, yes, I said great, Kevin Peel, because I know you're chomping at the bit. I know you have a million, perhaps a zillion questions.
I tell you what, I could do with some of that tea.
Yeah, just bear with me a second. I'm expecting you to talk a little bit longer, Michael. So I just
Oh, well, I can. I can.
That's okay. I was just I was just in a particular place on my screen here, and it went dark, and I had to. Was it decided? It had had enough time sitting on. Anyway, yeah, Michael, this is absolutely fantastic, Michael Kelly, Dr. Michael Likey. Thank you so much for letting me co-host on this episode, because it's great fun. A terrific, good friend of mine, Michael, as well, which is wonderful. We meet Michael once a year in Derby, do we not?
Yes, apart from last year, which last year was a bit of a mess, shall we say. But I will be there again this year, absolutely.
Well, it was a comedy of errors, wasn't it? So many things just conspired against each other not to allow you to go. Yeah, no, but that's good. That's Doomsday, which is a bizarre magic convention, which without Michael, it's not quite the same, because he's part of the furniture, you know, and you've been there so often and you perform so often at it. So a little bit about yourself. I thought we'd get to know Michael rather than what Michael does. Well, we'll find out a bit about what Michael does as well. So I'm not going to say how did you get into magic, but I am going to say what were your early influences? What did, you know, influenced you as a magician?
Well, I do remember when I was very young, and I wouldn't have been older than 6. Yeah, where we were living at that time, it would have been somewhere between the ages of 4 and 6. And I don't quite remember if it was Saturday mornings or if it was mornings in the summer holidays. But Ali Bongo used to be on TV.
Wonderful, yeah.
And you know, the humor, the laughter, and the magic together, that really gripped me at a young age. And in later years, of course, we had Paul Daniels on TV in the UK, and I always enjoyed his show.
And maybe there was somebody that influenced you in a non-magical way, but helped you with your storytelling.
Yes, yes, absolutely, because the two things go together with me. And I can remember on weeknights sitting up in the living room. You'll remember this, Kevin. These were in the days of 2.5 TV channels.
Yeah.
And the Dave Allen show would be on, an Irish comedian, and he was funny. But the bit that I always loved was towards the end of many of his shows, he'd be sitting there in a chair. The lights would dim. He'd have a whiskey in his hand, and he would tell a ghost story, which would always have some real comedy twist at the end.
Yeah.
But it was spellbinding. This was just a man sitting there telling a story, and he knew how to use his voice.
Absolutely, yeah.
The pacing, the intonation were absolutely perfect. And I just drank it in. So when it comes to storytelling, Dave Allen is absolutely an influence.
Up there.
Yeah, right up there.
So what took you? I mean, you started early with magic, and you were influenced by magic. But what twisted you towards the dark and twisty side of bizarre magic, rather than just pulling rabbits out of hats? And
well, I'd seen a few, shall we say, darker themed magicians on TV occasionally, but I thought they were one-offs, and it was a friend that I had. Well, I still have, but it was a friend who who said to me, you really want to bring these interests of yours together. And he used to go to Doomsday long before I knew there was such a thing. He doesn't go now, unfortunately, because of the nature of his work. He's quite a character. Spends a lot of his time just out in the wilds. But he pointed me towards the Black Hearts website, Keith Hardy, and later towards the Lebanon Circle website. And I think I probably own just about everything the Black Heart has ever released now.
There's
And
one trick, it's either Black Art or Magical Circle that I love that you have, and you won't sell me.
So, and there was a series of books as well. The Big Black Book, he called it, and it's up to, I think, volume 5 or 6 now. But the first 3 volumes were available back then, and I read them, and the effects contained in them and all of the information he gave on how to present them, this just fired my imagination, and I thought, I've got to do this.
Wonderful.
So yeah, Blackheart was very much my introduction to bizarre magic and seeing how the things could relate.
So, I mean, in your early days, you liked things like Paul Daniels, etc., but obviously you matured into the sort of magic that you like now. So what was your favorite TV of your genre?
I liked The Secret Cabaret with Simon Drake. I remember that screening.
Fantastic.
I think it was late night on Fridays, and it was that time in my life, a little bit younger. We'd all have been out to the pub. We'd be falling over a little bit, coming in with bags of chips, piling into someone's living room, and just sitting down to watch that. And it was, that was something special. And more recently, I've managed to get a hold of a copy of the DVD as well, which has a lot of the material on it. So I've relived it, and it still is good. Yeah.
So obviously, you have a penchant for horror. So if you were to watch, if you were be told, there is a film that everybody should see that would give an insight into Michael himself, into your thoughts, what would that film be?
Well, there are a lot of candidates. But if I was limited to one film, it's quite an obscure one. And it doesn't help that it's out under 2 different titles. But its most common title now is The Black Coat's Daughter. And the alternative title is February. It's a story directed by Osgood Perkins. And basically it's a tale of possession. But for me, it's odd being into horror films. The Exorcist never did anything for me, to be honest. But this...
I loved the book of The Exorcist. I didn't like the film.
Yes, that's... the book is always better than the film. But this gets under your skin in really strange ways. And there are so many subtleties in the way it's filmed. Little moving shadows that you'll only see on the 7th or 8th rewatch. And it's deliberately filmed this way so that every time you watch it, you'll discover something more. And it's quite shocking in places. it's difficult to follow on your first watch through because it leaps back and forward through time, and it takes a while before you're able to start connecting things. But that's good. I don't mind things that make you think.
No, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And it's actually heartbreaking at the end for all the wrong reasons. It's heartbreaking for me, but I imagine a lot of people would think it was just desserts. But so I would point to that because it's not necessarily easily accessible. You have to bring the clues together. So it's like a piece of magic in that respect. You're having to find the connections and see where things are going to shape up. It's got some startling imagery in it. The music is fantastic. And it just gets under your skin.
That's terrific.
You can't just walk away from it.
No. It's definitely on my to-be watched list now. I mean, Michael, you are an author, as Dr. Michael has mentioned earlier on, but there must be a book that you wish you had written because it's just, so sits there as a favourite. But what would that book be?
And there are loads of authors I love, and some of them are obviously Poe is probably my favourite writer, for instance. But there is one novel in particular that I would say is probably my favourite book, and surprisingly, it's a fairly recent one. I say that, but it's probably more than 10 years old now. Recent becomes a very relative term the older you get. It's called The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And it's about a circus. It's about magic. It's filled with mystery and weird characters. So what's not to love? It's an incredible novel. An amazing piece of imagination. And if I was to cheat a bit, her second novel, The Starless Sea, that's just as good as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
If you imagine an underground library with secret entrances to it and a sea of honey that rises and falls, stories that are lost and found again all through history. It's just incredible imagination and goes in such strange places that they're irresistible.
Oh, wonderful.
If I could have written those,
that, yeah. So how many books have you written, Michael? Do you actually know how many books you've written?
I can't give you a fixed figure. I can have a guess at about
Go on, have a guess.
About 60-ish.
About 60 books. And all of those, which is your favourite book that you've written?
I've written a series of books, the Damsels series, and one of those is my favourite. It's the second one in the series called Damsels in Arms. And that doesn't mean the series dips after that. It doesn't. I'm really proud of how it goes on. But that particular book has just got so much going on in it. So many ridiculous situations. So many appalling jokes. I should say it's best read with caution.
Well, I class some of your books as erotic fantasy.
Some are, yes. And that is the Damsel series isn't so much erotic as, or rather, if it is, it's in the Benny Hill sense. It plays around with the naughtiness of it. But everything is always sort of slapped back. Others absolutely are, yes. If I can, I had a delivery a couple of days ago for a representative selection. This is the latest Damsels book, Damsels in
Oh,
Despair.
wow. What's it called?
Damsels in Despair.
Damsels in Despair.
So that's the latest of those, the seventh in the series.
So how many in the Damsels series already? Yeah.
I'm writing book 8 now,
Book 8, right. Yeah.
and
So
they're
there's
all
7 to
about,
read.
yeah, and they're all about 300 pages. So there's a lot of reading there.
Yeah.
This is another series I wrote under a pen name, Evelyn Dreams. That and this is an erotic series, and comedy,
Oh, yeah.
and horror,
And horror, yeah.
and this is more mythic. This is called The Fairy Lover, and this is a collection and analysis of stories from folklore, mostly Celtic, but worldwide, of the idea of the fairy lover, beings such as the Lianan Shee or the Dancannach, these beings who come and try to seduce mortals. Well, you have tales such as Tam Lin, of course, who's taken away by the fairy queen, and that is an analysis of a quite a large selection of those stories. It retells the stories. It's profusely illustrated, and it also then distills them and tries to find the common themes behind the myths.
Yeah, fantastic. So, Mike, if you put down your pen, stop writing, put away your magic, right? Go into your lounge and just get out some music and decide to play some music. What would Michael listen to?
I've got fairly broad tastes, but everybody I think has a favorite.
Hmm.
And for me, it's that really over the top, overblown, theatrical rock opera of Jim Steinman. And he wrote for Meatloaf, Bonnie Tyler, Pandora's Box, so many people. But his songs all have this quality, the pounding piano, the screaming guitars, everything is bigger than everything else, and it
Yeah.
just crescendos all the way through. That to me is the absolute peak of music.
Was painting pictures and telling stories through music.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
So I just thought finally, you mentioned earlier, and we all know, well, some your friends know that you live on the Isle of Man, which is a very small, quite remote little part of the United Kingdom, stuck in the middle of the Irish Sea. But if you were to live anywhere else, if you would decide, oh, I think, let's move, let's go somewhere else, where would you go?
Well, it's funny. I've talked with the wife about this a few times in recent years. I mean, she's American, but with that folkloric connection, just a short hop in the other direction to the Republic of Ireland. That would suit me down to the ground, for instance. We've also spoken about Svalbard, which is an island. It's linked to Norway, but it's kind of semi-independent. And you don't even need any paperwork to move there. You can just
Wow.
go, as long as you can provide for yourself when you get there. You're not going to get any benefits of any kind. You've got to be able to.
Is it attached? Is it the mainland Norway, or is it an island again?
It is an island, yes, and
Right.
about the population is about half human and half polar bear. So, and that might sound strange, but that just appeals to us. We like the idea of frozen wastes for some reason. It's just one of those things. Um, so yeah, um, two very different places, but they've each got their appeal.
So, you're planning on retiring?
Um, Not really, no.
No.
I mean, most of what I do, obviously, there's the day job as well. I have to work part time as well because what I
Hmm.
do myself doesn't give me a full income. So, but the part time day job, I'll certainly retire from that
Right.
in a
Yeah.
few years. But everything else I do, everything I do for myself, I'm doing it because it's what I would do anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm doing it because it's me.
Yeah.
It's not a
And if
job.
you're, and then if you're not tied down to a specific job, what would you do?
Um, if I wasn't tied down to a day job, I would probably, well, certainly travel more. Um, I quite like the idea of maybe living part of the year on cruise ships, and just sort of sailing about the place and being in a different port every few
Yeah.
days with a laptop, able to do
Yeah.
all of my own things, and yet ever changing scenery. And also,
Yeah.
I think it's in the Celtic blood. I do like the sea.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Michael. I mean, it's been fascinating to learn a little bit more about you. I will hand you back to the good doctor. But thanks a lot for having a chat with me as well.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you so much, Kev. Fascinating, fascinating life, Michael. I want to sort of, for those out there who are listening or watching, either through Facebook or in our studio audience, and this is going to sound cliche, it doesn't, I don't intend it to sound cliche. And this is when you're constructing a potential effect, which comes first? Does a particular prop, a particular artifact spur on ideas for you? Or do you come from the angle perhaps of a Celtic myth, and the Green Man comes to mind immediately, and then do you start dreaming and do you start making things work and piece stuff together like a jigsaw puzzle? Or do you do all of that just depending?
It can work both ways, but usually it'll be a story that I want to do something with. And one example of that, which, pardon me, which has never yet been properly performed, and I should bring it to Doomsday sometime. Maybe I'll bring it along with me this year, though the props are fairly heavy. I'm a great fan of Bram Stoker's novel, The Duel of Seven Stars. So I wanted to make an effect based around that. So I started
Beautiful.
gathering the props, and I thought that the best the best treatment of the story is obviously the novel, but the best treatment of it in terms of making an effect is the Hammer film based on it, Blood from the Mummy's Tomb, because
Yes.
it has the ring, which I could easily obtain, and it has three people holding three items. Three people who'd been on this expedition who are each of them possesses one of the items necessary for the Egyptian queen to be resurrected. A they're all models from the tomb: a jackal, a cobra, and a cat. And so this immediately suggested to me two sets of choices. You choose a person and you choose an item, and there are pictures of the people, and whatever choice is made, you there is a change that occurs. Let's put it that way. There is a change that occurs which is quite striking and alarming. So that would be the usual way of going about it. First the story, then find the elements in the story that will fit a magic routine that I know, and then shape it all together. Another example, Bigfoot. You don't see many. I mean, it's one of the big modern myths, but you don't see very many effects dealing with Bigfoot. So I thought I'm going to make one. And I have, you get all of these Bigfoot souvenirs shops in the US and so on, or in parts of the US rather, and they're fantastic to go into. The whole mentality is just brilliant and really speaks to me. And you can get plastic casts of alleged Bigfoot prints. So I have one of those. I had that anyway. And I'd read up on Bigfoot, of course, and there was a theory which appealed to me that Bigfoot wasn't actually a living creature now. Bigfoot was a race memory of, thousands of years ago. It was actually a more primitive us that we'd be encountering out there when the human is out there in the wilds of these woodlands. They come face to face with their own primeval roots, and it would be a kind of psychic manifestation, but it would be so powerful and so
Yes.
primal it could leave prints, and that's why they could never be followed far. They just vanish. So I thought, I can do something with this.
Very exciting. Very, very
If I have a
exciting.
box and fill it with sand and can make a big footprint appear, and then you take the plaster cast and it fits it perfectly,
Yes.
then
Yeah.
and so of course I invented my Bigfoot box. It's just it's just a cardboard box prototype at the moment, but it works. And I've done it over Zoom a couple of times, but that hasn't had a proper audience outing yet either, and I'd like to do that time too. But in both cases, it was finding either the subject or the story first, and then looking at the different aspects of it and how does this work? What can I do with it? So that when I tell the story, everything just slots into place. Yeah. So
Wonderful. Very
that's the
exciting.
method.
I know you've inspired so many people out there, just with your presence, with your storytelling, with your sharing of magic, and perhaps a potential process for some people to get excited about the stuff we spoke about already. How can people get in touch with you, Michael?
It would be www.facebook.com/Michael Kelly Macabre Magician,
Ah,
which was the
very good.
original name of it. But if you searched for Michael Kelly Bizarre Magician, that would find it as well. But
Excellent.
the direct link is sometimes a bit easier with Facebook.
Yes, excellent. I can't thank you enough, Michael Kelly, for coming on the show, taking time to literally inspire us, to literally move us and to share just a little bit of your knowledge. And we look forward to your future Zoom shows. I can't wait. Hopefully this year you have a few planned. Do you?
I don't have any full shows planned at the moment, but I will be reappearing on the open mic show in just 2 or 3 weeks' time. Basically, as soon as my voice is back to normal.
And I know for a fact you're coming on to our Friday, March 6th, a Midnight Wizard Collective Gala that Lord Kevin Peel and I, yes, I called him Lord Kevin Peel, and there's a reason for that, which we'll mention later. I'm looking forward to your appearance on that as well. Anywhere that you are, it's fun and exciting, and you add so much. You're appreciated, Michael Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us this day.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And there we go.
Wonderful. What a guy.
Wow. Wow, so exciting. I'm inspired now to get down and start to create more bizarre magic effects as well. Shall we do these promos while we're here and alive?
Yes, why not? Why not?
I did allude to the fact that you're called Lord Kevin Peel. I want to promote that very, very special Monday show. It's usually every Monday. I believe it's coming back very soon with a very special guest on there.
Yes, this coming Monday. It's called the No Name Trivia Show. And how do they find it, Michael?
You'll look it up on Facebook and you will find it there.
Yeah, No Name Trivia Show. And it's creator and host, I believe, is somewhere in our Zoom room, Joseph McGrail Data, or Lord Joseph. And a few years ago, Lord Joseph gave us some titles, which are genuine lords, and mine is Lord Kevin Peel. I have a certificate and everything, and I am genuinely a Lord Kevin Peel, but I don't sit in the House of Lords. And so on Monday, and it's at 9 a.m. here in the UK, and which is 8 p.m. in Australia. And do you want me to give some US times and that side of the pond times? Let me just.
I believe, and I could be wrong, it's 1 a.m. LA time, West Coast time in the US and Canada, and 3 hours later, New York Eastern Seaboard time.
Yeah, Pacific Standard Time's 1 a.m. Yeah.
Yes.
And 4 a.m. in New York. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's one to watch. Believe me, it's worth either staying up for or waking up early.
And of course, the guest this Monday, there's always a guest. And the show is, oh, there's an echo somewhere. That's gone, good. There's always a fantastic guest on the show. And the guest this Monday is an absolutely wonderful Canadian magician.
Sean Farquhar.
Twice Penn and Teller Fooler. All round good guy. Yeah. And
really
fantastic magician. So it'd be a wonderful show. And there's also another co-host. On Wednesday we have the Open Mic Magic Theatre. Used to be called Open Mic Magic. Open Mic Magic Theatre. And there's wonderful magicians from all around the world that appear on that. And you can join our supporters group. You can join us if you're a magician and want to perform. You can perform. We usually have about 10 magicians on, and it's always great fun. And we chat for ages afterwards as well.
Coming up next week on this show on Beyond Belief, The Art of Strange Mentalism, we feature Franklin Williams, aka Frank Zazani II. And he is wonderful. He's involved with Jeff McBride, and all sorts of things. So his magic
and another storyteller.
That's right. His magic is
Mm.
impeccable. I think I met him through open mic or Tuesday Night
Yeah.
Magic. He's been on our Friday Night Wizard Emporium. And speaking of the Friday night show, that's just a couple of months away on March
Wow.
6th,
Mm.
Friday. Do you believe that, Kev? Time flies.
Yeah, it does indeed. Yeah.
So we're calling it the Midnight Wizard Collective Gala or Gala, and there will be a score of magicians, probably a dozen of them. There's Rabina, there's Phil Ackerley, Micah, Martin Duffy, Frank Zazanis, Paul Abbey, Michael Kelly, who just was on, Raven Luck Magic as well from the UK, Filippo from Italy, the Magical Miss Charlie from the US, always entertaining, Johnny Ritchie from the UK and
Yeah. Johnny
myself.
Ritchie, for those who don't know, is a fantastic magician for the UK. He's a cruise ship magician,
Ah,
as well as he also has a fantastic singing voice as well. But he will
ooh.
be just be doing magic.
We'll look forward to seeing him, and people will pay a nominal fee to watch this. We'll have more details again on Facebook as
Yeah,
the time draws nearer, I'm sure. And I'm not sure. I think we're all done, Kevin. Do you believe it?
we are. Yes,
And
almost a wrap.
That's right. And not a food wrap either, although I
Yeah.
do I do love food wraps. I want to thank you for taking the time this week, Kevin, to guest host in lieu of Tommy Burnett, who is off attending something that he is involved with. I want to as well thank the great Michael Kelly, a fantastic storyteller. I think we've learned a lot from him this week as well. And most of all, I'd like to thank all of you out there for joining us this time. We'll see you all really soon.